Yo, so what is good, everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video, and for today's video we're coming back at you with another career sim battle, I guess you want to call it. But today we're not doing Jordan versus LeBron. We're doing a little bit more recent of a big kind of debate between people, and it's going to be Zion Williamson versus Ja Morant. And we're going to see which one of them actually ends up having the better career. And if you like this content, please be sure to hit the subscribe button for your boy and like the video so more people can see it. So in year one here, Luka Doncic goes ahead and gets MVP. The Grizzlies come in the playoffs here with 45 wins. And the Pelicans, they also make the playoffs with 48 wins. And we're going to kind of look at where they are ranking among the league leaders as far as scoring and all that. Kind of keep tabs on that throughout the year. So Ja Morant, 22.3 points per game. Coming in at number 26 in the league. And where is Zion sitting at? Zion sitting at number 34, 20.8 points per game. So not terrible. And I'm not going to go through every round. I'm going to kind of show you guys the gist of what happened. So as you can see here, nobody made it out of the first round. Mavs versus the Bucks in the finals here. So obviously Giannis and the Bucks up against the Mavs. The Bucks end up taking it, and Giannis gets an MVP of the finals there in year one, moving us into year two here. Now 94 overall Zion, adding Cade Cunningham to his squad, which is definitely a deadly pickup. 92 overall now for Ja Morant, sitting at 23 years old. And they actually made a big splash as well, getting Kawhi Leonard. Giannis Antetokounmpo getting regular season MVP with the Lakers. Grizzlies coming in as the number 3 seed. And to my surprise, the Pelicans only making the 8th seed with the addition of Cade Cunningham. I think they would have done a little bit better. But looking at the league leaders in scoring, none of our guys are kind of in that top 15-ish. But you see, not bad for Zion at all. Number 18 right there at 24 points a game. And Ja doing his thing as well, coming in right around that 20-ish, 21, 22-ish mark. So first round, the Memphis Grizzlies are up against the Phoenix Suns in a tough matchup here where they're going to go to Game 7. So we will be hopping into Simcast for this. Obviously a big game, and see just how this one ends up playing out. We end up taking it by 11 points there. Ja leading the team in scoring with 23 points in the game. Moving us on to a round 2 matchup here up against Greg Popovich's led Spurs, who added Michael Porter Jr. Going into another Game 7 here. It's definitely going to be a tough one, so we're going to see how this one ends up playing out. Back and forth early on, and they end up bouncing us by about 12 points. Ja Morant dropping 29 points and 10 assists, but it was not enough to get it done. Finals here in year 2, you got the Lakers up against the Celtics, and keep in mind this Lakers team did add Giannis Antetokounmpo. So let's see who ends up taking this, and look at that. The Celtics take them in 5 despite the addition of Giannis. Moving us into year 3, 93 overall Ja. Obviously has that help from Brandon Clark and Kawhi. Kawhi sitting at 91. Jaren Jackson, 89. They even added Jalen Durham, who's a pretty good young center. And then you can see the squad for the Pelicans is starting to come alongside Zion, who's now a 95 overall. Giannis getting another MVP season here with the Lakers. Pelicans coming in the number 1 seed in the West, followed by the number 4 seeded Grizzlies with 53 wins. So look at the scoring on the season. You see Zion, the 5th highest scorer in the league, almost 30 points per game. And not too far behind him, 28.3 for Ja Morant. Pelicans going to a big Game 7 here against that Lakers squad in the second round. Let's see if they can edge them out and make it to the Western Conference Finals here. And they do end up doing it with a big fourth quarter. 37-point performance from Giannis was not enough. This will be Zion's first chance to potentially make the finals up against the Phoenix Suns, led by Devin Booker, and they take it in 5 up against Trae Young and the Hawks here in the finals, boys. Let's see what we can do here. Back and forth early on, and we're down 1. It's a close series, 3-2, so it's time for Simcast. Let's see if we can push this to Game 7, and it's looking good. We go into OT. And we win that game, and we hop into Game 7 here, win or go home, as you can see. And we are cooking them 140 to 115. We take the dub, a huge one there, by 25 points. The Pelicans get themselves an NBA championship, and I'm interested to see just who gets this Finals MVP award. And you see Nico also with the boys right there. So let's look at that box score. Huge game there from Zion, putting up 39 and 10. And of course, he does secure himself a Finals MVP number 1 of the sim for him. Moving us into year 4, now 96 overall, Zion Williamson leading his Pelicans team, a very good team around him, of course, with Cade even coming off the bench. Morant now at a 93, and obviously a really good team there in Memphis for him as well. Another MVP season for Giannis here. And to look at the standings, the Pelicans are the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and the number 4 seed is the Grizzlies. And Zion is the 3rd highest scorer in the entire league here. Ja coming in at number 7 with 26.1 as well, doing his thing. Ja leading the Grizzlies into a second round matchup that is actually going to be up against the Pelicans here. So one of them's coming out on top and making it to the Western Conference Finals. And it's looking like it's going to be the Pelicans as they end up taking it in 5. A 37-point performance from Zion doing his thing. Western Conference Finals here up against the Clippers, and they do send the Clippers home here. Zion 33 points up against the Hawks yet again. Will Zion be getting himself his 2nd NBA championship of his early career here, boys? They go up 3-1, and we hop into the Simcast in another flood, 124-109. Zion and the Pelicans get their 2nd NBA championship. Zion is now 2 for 2 in his finals appearances, and potentially going to be a 2-time finals MVP already in this young career of his. 32-14 there, going crazy. And the 25-year-old gets his 2nd NBA championship and his 2nd finals MVP. Morant and the Grizzlies, sitting there now at a 93 overall, as Zion is a 96, and he's just not getting exactly to the point in the playoffs where Zion has seen some success, and he even has this regressing Kawhi now down to an 85 overall. Giannis getting another regular season MVP, man. He is just racking them up with the Lakers. Looking at the playoff rankings here, Pelicans coming in number 2, and the Grizzlies actually missing playoffs. Zion not getting MVP despite being the league leader in scoring by over an entire point per game over Luka, which is definitely interesting, but Giannis is getting it with 15th, which is kind of interesting to see. In the playoffs here, we have this Western Conference Finals matchup up against Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, the number 1 seed up against the number 2 seed, and it's going to Game 7, and in 7, the Pelicans actually do take the L. DeAndre Ayton with a huge game there, 13-15, Zion dropping 34-10, but it was not enough. Hawks versus the Suns in the finals here. Obviously, we did just bounce the Hawks 2 years in a row in the finals, so maybe they'll get one here against the Suns, but we'll have to see. The Hawks go up and do end up taking it in 5. Of course, Trae Young getting finals MVP. Moving us into year 6 of the sim here. Looking Zion 96 overall, 26 years of age. Going crazy in his young career already, a 5-time All-Star. And to look at Ja and what he has going on, we got to definitely go look at that. Still 93 overall. More and more regression here from Kawhi Leonard, which kind of sucks because of his contract for them. MVP season there for Giannis Antetokounmpo. We have the Pelicans coming in the number 2 seed, and the Grizzlies yet again missing playoffs with only 34 wins on the season, boys. That's not what you want to see. Looking at, and we see we do make it to the Western Conference Finals yet again. The same kind of thing that happened last year, up against the Phoenix Suns. 1 seed versus the 2 seed, but this time we don't go to 7. We get swept 4-0 by this Suns team. Suns and the Bulls here in the finals. The Suns want revenge for last year. They do want to get themselves a chip, but it looks like the Bulls are not going to let that happen as they go up 3-0 early in the series and end up taking it in 5. Denny Avila getting finals MVP. Moving us on to year 7 of this young career here. Ja still sitting at a 93 overall. Not really been able to get to his full potential here because of his team around him has not been really working with him. Zion sitting at a 95 with a lot better team around him. But would you look at that? The Grizzlies go and make a heel turn here and finish as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Zion number 11th in the league in general in scoring. And where is Ja sitting at? And his teammates actually at number 20-something, but Ja all the way down at number 37, taking a little bit of a backseat scoring, but he does make it to the second round here, as the Pelicans do as well. There's a possibility the two meet up in the Western Conference Finals here in a big game matchup, and would you look at that? It's going to happen. Will Morant clutch up after these pretty devastating years in the years past, or will the Pelicans just go ahead and dominate. It's back and forth, and it's going to Game 7, and in Game 7, Ja Morant clutches up with a 36-point performance to knock out Zion and the Pelicans. But once in the finals here, the Hawks are not letting their foot off the gas pedal and end up knocking Ja out in 5. Moving us into Year 8. Definitely good that Ja at least got an opportunity in the finals. Now 0-1 in his finals appearances. But that does not mean that he is ruled out of coming back this year even harder in Year 8. So let's see what's happening. Jalen Lewis ends up getting an MVP with the Boston Celtics here. Grizzlies going back-to-back number 1 seeds in the Western Conference. And the Pelicans coming in at number 3. Not bad at all. Ja definitely doing his thing. Both him and Zion top 10 scorers in the league. Making it back to the Western Conference Finals here up against that OP Lakers team. And they're battling with them for sure. Going to a Game 7, and we're going to hop into Simcast, boys, and see if we can push this to a game. Push this to a championship and go to the NBA Finals. And it's back and forth here, but we do end up taking it in 5 by 5. 28-point performance from Ja Morant, and you love to see it. Moving us back to the finals again up against the Hawks, who did bounce them last time. So let's see if Ja can do something about that this time. And it's not looking good as the Grizzlies find themselves down 3-2 here, boys. We got to hope Ja really clutches up and goes crazy for us. And it's looking like he did enough to push us to a Game 7 with a 24-point performance and 19 assists in that game. And we hop into this one, and it's looking good. The Grizzlies up 134-125. Morant with another dime, getting them the further lead, 136-125. Ja Morant gets himself an NBA championship as well early in this sim. Going now 1-2 in his finals appearances, putting up 27 points. But is he the finals MVP here? He actually is not. It is his teammate, which is interesting. We hop into Year 9, and the footage got a little messed up, but we are in the playoffs here. As you can see, we're up 3-1 in the finals here, and it's looking like we're going to take it back-to-back years. It kind of sucks that the footage got all messed up of the regular season, but Ja did his thing again this year in a tough game here where, as you can see, it's neck and neck, honestly. Ja going to drain this and give us a 5-point lead with 13 seconds left on the clock. Potentially going to go back-to-back and get himself another finals championship, tying him up with Zion, and he does do it. But does he get the finals MVP this year? As you know, Zion went 2 for 2 on his finals MVPs, so we're going to see if Ja can load up one out of his 2 championships here and see just what we're working with. Let's check it out. Can Ja Morant solidify himself? And he does, moving us into Year 10 of the sim, boys. We go to check in on Zion and the Pelicans, and it looks like Zion has actually up and left the Pelicans here in Year 8. So let's see what that's all about. 95 overall, has done a change, and I suppose signed with the Brooklyn Nets. Not too much talent around him on this team, so we'll see how this ends up going. And they're actually going to have him being played at the small ball 5 to have Precious Achiuwa start at the 4. Bronny James getting a regular season MVP here. And Zion doing his thing. 26 points per game, coming in number 3 among the league here. Going crazy. And let's see about Ja, where he is kind of fallen. And it's not looking good as we're about 30 and we don't see him yet. So it's not looking like Ja had a very good season as far as points per game wise. Not even probably putting up like 19 at that point. So you see nothing really happening here for either of our teams. Suns versus the Celtics here in the finals. Suns go up 3-1 and end up taking it in 5. Moving us on to Year 11 of the sim. 94 overall. Zion now, 30 years old. Still playing that small ball 5 position, which I don't know if that's the best for him. Ja sitting at a 94 overall. Still leading his Memphis Grizzlies team. Brooklyn Nets coming in as the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, and the Grizzlies coming in number 1 in the West. As you can see, the Grizzlies do make it back to the Western Conference Finals here, where they go up 2-0, 3-0, and make that 4-0 a clean sweep over the San Antonio Spurs, baby. Moving us into the finals up against the Orlando Magic. Can Ja Morant get his 3rd NBA championship here, boys? And it's looking good as we find ourselves up 3-0 in the series, and it might even be a clean sweep. I might have jinxed us a little bit there, as they do end up getting the game, going back to 3-1. But hey, we have a couple games to try and take this. So here we go, we hop into this one, and we are up 134-127. And you can call it a game, baby. We get our third NBA championship here for Ja Morant. I believe in year 11 of this sim, putting him actually up 1 on Zion's young success in the league that happened. Ja putting up 23 and 10 in that W. And let's see if he ends up getting a Finals MVP here. And he does, getting his second one now, moving us into year 12. Zion, 94 overall. Let's see if he can make any magic happen with that Nets roster. And of course, Ja sitting at a 94 overall here with a pretty solid team around him as well. Number 1 in scoring in the league for Zion here. Having some crazy scoring numbers. He's going to finish very high amongst points once it's all said and over for him. Nets versus the Magic in the first round, and they end up getting bounced. Grizzlies get bounced in the second round, and the Sixers end up taking it, moving us in to year 13 of the sim. Ja Morant, 92 overall, 33 years old. Zion, 32 years old, chilling at a 92 as well. Gonna see how this one ends up playing out. Nets coming out the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, and Grizzlies the number 1 in the Western Conference. Zion number 1 in the league in scoring, and Ja Morant coming in at number 10. Not too bad. Western Conference Finals here. The Grizzlies up against the Suns. The Suns start off very strong there, getting up 2-0. Finding ourselves down 3-1, but we come back a little, boys. We pushed it to a Game 7, so of course we're going to hop into Simcast and see if we can make it back to the NBA Championship here. And we do, despite going down 3-1, a huge point performance there from Ja, dropping 36 points in Game 7 to force us to the NBA Championship here, up against last year's champions, Philadelphia 76ers. What can we do here? Finding ourselves up 3-1. And they end up battling back 3-1 and making it a Game 7 series here, boys. This is going to get spooky. So let's see how this one ends up going. Can we come out victorious here in Game 7 and get Ja his 4th NBA championship? And we do, with a now 3-time Finals MVP, Ja Morant, baby. Going crazy in this sim. And honestly, in Game 7, they're not doing all that much, so interesting. Year 14, baby. And let's get into it. In year 14, we'll see if Zion can start coming back in this battle, man, because it's starting to get a little lopsided. Grizzlies in the finals here, up against the Thunder in the first round, and the Nets led by Zion on the other side, but they get bounced in the first round. Grizzlies making it to the Western Conference Finals yet again, up against the San Antonio Spurs, who are coming in as the number 3 seed. We're the number 1 seed. Let's see just how this one ends up playing out. Will Ja shock the world and get another finals appearance here? It's going to Game 7, and in Game 7, wow, he does it again. Well, at least the Grizzlies do it again. Let me not give Ja all the praise, because obviously he's getting up there in age and he's not doing it all at this point. Bucks in the finals with Kira Lewis up against Ja and the Grizzlies here in 2034, and it's looking good for Ja yet again. We hop into this one. We're up 143-111 as the shot clock rolls down. A now 5-time NBA champion Ja Morant taking the Grizzlies here 6 times in total, coming out victorious in 5 of them, man. Going absolutely berserko, and let's see who ends up getting Finals MVP. Will it be another one for Ja? And I forgot to show it, but Ja did not get another Finals MVP there. He is at 3 of his 5 championships he got Finals MVPs in. Zion, man, now down to an 84 overall. That regression wall's hitting him hard, and honestly, nothing crazy happening here. Bucks versus the Jazz, and as you can see, it's going to Game 7, and the Bucks end up taking it. Moving us on to year 16 of the sim, and now 80 overall. Zion still hanging in there with the Nets, and Ja not regressing just as bad at an 86 still for the Grizzlies. And making it back to the Western Conference Finals yet again, up against the LaMelo Ball-led Suns. And it's going to be interesting to kind of compare both of their careers here at the end as far as their overall performance and NBA records, as well as their finals and playoff experience and how they did and all that. So this is a back and forth one here in this Game 7, and we end up actually sneaking out the win by 1 point there. Not too much there from Ja putting up 18, but we will take it up against the Miami Heat here in the finals. And it'd be pretty crazy if Ja goes ahead and wins his 6th NBA championship of this sim. And would you look at that? We're going to Game 7 yet again, and we're hopping into Simcast. So let's see what ends up happening here. And wow, man. It's looking pretty good for Ja to get a 6th ring of this sim, man. Going up 135 to 117, ultimately not getting a finals MVP there. But man, oh man, a championship is a championship, moving us into year 17, and now 83 overall Ja. And let's see what Zion is actually sitting at as of now, and see if he's still with the Nets or whatever we got going on there. And 77 overall with the Nets. And as we go ahead and hop into the playoffs, the Grizzlies make it to the Western Conference Finals yet again. It feels like the last 10 years they've been like the 1 seed every year. The Bucks in the finals here up against Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies, and it'd be pretty ridiculous if Ja gets another one here, but he does not, thankfully. At this point, it would have just been overloaded. Now 79 overall. Ja, a 6-time NBA champion. And Zion, let's check out what's going on with him. It's looking like he might possibly be at the point where he's just sitting in the free agency pool, and he actually is not. He's with the Bucks at a 75 overall. So let's see what this Bucks team that he's working with is looking like. And Zion is just coming off the bench for them as kind of a guy that's not getting any tick. And yet again, another playoff appearance here for the freaking Grizzlies, man. Moving through the Suns in 5 games. Moving us back to the NBA championship here in the year 2038, man. This is crazy, honestly. Another potential opportunity to get a championship, and he's still actually starting at an 80 overall for this Grizzlies team, and they do end up taking it here. I'm pretty sure right here they take it. My mistake, boys. They battling back 3-1 here as the deficit. And the Grizzlies do end up taking it, as you can see, 4-1, going crazy even this deep in his career. The year is now 2038, keep in mind. Zion does ultimately retire here alongside Trae Young, and that moves us into year 19 of the sim, and now 76 overall Ja Morant, sitting at, I believe, 39 years old, man. A 6-time NBA champion. That's pretty crazy. Ja finally is not getting any tick at this point, and nothing really happens for us in the playoffs. We get knocked out in the first round by the Lakers. So, surprisingly, Ja does not opt out to retire there. We're moving into year 20, and we're going to see if Ja ends up playing a 20th season in the NBA here, or what actually ends up going on with that. So, let's check it out. Ja Morant. And it's looking like Ja is actually just sitting in the free agency pool now to 73 overall. So last year was the last year he actually was going to be on an NBA team. And now 2040, he finally decides to retire here, boys. Obviously making the Hall of Fame. A fantastic career, averaging 18.1 points per game. Surprisingly not getting his jersey retired here. And I'm going to throw up kind of the stats of where he falls and where Zion falls as their finals appearances and all that. Zion coming in 10th all-time in points, and Ja's definitely going to be a good amount lower because Zion was scoring like crazy. Yeah, he's coming in at 33, so obviously as far as that goes, Zion had the edge, but as far as finals go, boys, you saw the graphic. It definitely favored Ja. You guys tell me which guy you think ended up actually having the better career. As always, I do appreciate you guys for watching all the way through. And if you made it this far, as always, comment GOAT, G-O-A-T in all capitals, so I know you're a true Bean Squad supporter and can show you some love down in the comment section below. I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching. Bean out. Peace.